Welcome to the OH.Report video podcast. My name is Brian Skoronsky, and here's what you can expect coming up on today's episode. As usual, a whole lot of gas bagging from some semi-intelligent gentlemen. See, I can't even say the word. That's how dumb we are around here, but we like chopping it up.
It's summer,
bringing it to you
Brian. We're allowed
some,
to take a break.
Yeah, with some specific flavor. We do have a state champion waiting to talk to you here in just a couple of minutes, as well as an MVP from an all-star football game and a future collegiate pitcher. But first, let's meet the crew. And I don't know what kind of crew you're from. Tell the folks at home, Travis, what you got going on here today.
I'm representing the County Cork Rebels. Hurling, not CH, hurling from Ireland, one of their major sports. I got this back in high school when we went on a trip for a week. Our teacher that took us with us actually played for one of the county Irish national teams and won a big trophy there. So he taught us the stick. This is called a hurley. It's like a mix between hockey, soccer, football. I'll teach you guys after the podcast because I don't want to embarrass you right now. But fun sport. I found this today. I'm like, might as well sport it and make myself look like an idiot as usual.
Yeah, so you were good size back in high school too.
Actually, it was big on me back then. This is a medium.
That's
so.
Check the tag. Check the tag.
Chipotle is your life. I see over there, Mr. Gray.
Yeah. Any sponsorship opportunities, please reach out. No, I'm feeling a little bit, I don't know, I'm a little bit sweaty after that lunch there. I'm feeling like a rotisserie chicken right now.
I think we're all kind of shiny here today. It's a little warm here in the studio.
Kinda toasty.
Nobody's dripping more, though, than G-Man.
Not
You
the
think
drip,
you're going to
no.
be able to
Burn
survive
those
through the show?
calories.
Maybe cutting a couple pounds?
Yeah, the shirt was kind
Drippy.
of light purple when I came in today, and it's a little dark. I look like I just got out of a pool. Look at my hair.
Mountain Dew shower.
Mountain Dew
It's
shower.
Mountain Dew for the last 10 minutes.
Mountain Dew.
This is what we have to put up with every day, folks. Mountain Dew.
blessing.
All right, so that's our sweaty crew. We saw some great baseball, though, this past weekend. That's
Absolutely.
where we're going to begin. State championships at Canal Park in Akron wrapped up the entire high school sports season for
We on
2021-22. Trav, you and I were both there. Give the kids at home that are watching some feedback about what you saw. What were some top takeaways from the weekend that was in Akron?
Well, this is why baseball is so awesome. It doesn't matter if you're the best team or have the best player in the state or any of that. Any given day, any team can win. And first, Edison making it to state championship game. They made it there after winning a regional semifinal, scoring 5 runs on 5 errors by Fredericktown. Honestly, if you looked on paper, the Freddies should have been in that spot, but Edison took advantage of that, made it, won the region, won the state semifinal, and went on to take on Waynedale, which you and I saw one of the greatest endings to a season was that walk-off, and we'll talk more into that later. But then on the other side of things, Waynedale in that semifinal going up against Jacob Miller, the number 44 overall MLB draft prospect, the 5th highest rated high school pitcher in the country going in the draft. He's probably going to go in the first round, maybe the late first round, but he's going out to LA. He might be in LA right now with the Angels and the Dodgers trying out with them. But you know what, Waynedale, they did what they needed to do. They played great defense. They had an amazing pitching performance, and they took advantage, scored 4 runs, held off Liberty Union. They made it to the state championship game. So it goes back to that. Any given day, anybody can win in the game of baseball just if you bring your A game, and that's what made that state semifinal and state championship rounds so great. And then also we saw Calvert, Lincoln View took care of them, but then the Russia Rebels the next day, 7 runs in the 6th inning to win that state championship 10-4. I mean, it was some great baseball we saw.
Yeah, we saw that. I think total team efforts
Yes.
mattered more than the individual
Absolutely.
stars. Landon Price, for example, 24-0 for Lincoln View during his career, suffered his first career loss.
He's going to
against
Ohio
Russia.
State the pitch. So, I mean, you saw some great athletes in there, but like we said, team effort, any given day, you can win.
And playing with purpose, sometimes it's hard to kind of quantify what that means in a tangible sense. And that was something that Waynedale was doing, playing for Deegan B. They brought out his
That was an
golf
awesome
bag.
tribute, bringing out the golf bag, his hats and shirts, doing that. But the whole community just, rallying around this team. It just happened too early, a couple days before the state Final Four, and then that game against Liberty Union where they were the underdog in that game. But, they came together, like they rallied around each other, was able to get that win, and then moved that to the 2-1 walk-off in 8 innings to win the state championship, which, I mean, things like that, yes, it's high school sports. it's just sports, but a moment like that can really, I guess, not completely heal, but it could take the minds off of these hurting members of the community and really, make them at least happy for a couple hours, and that's what this baseball team did. It's a really great story.
Well, I know a guy who's probably still happy right now, the gentleman who delivered the RBI hit heard around Wayne County. How about Connor Gatti joining us right now? Hey, what's up, man? We don't get too many state champions on our podcast, so we're happy you could join us. You've been getting any sleep, or has it been all celebrating since Saturday afternoon?
I've been trying to get a little bit of sleep, but I still got that great feeling I got from getting that hit. It was awesome.
What has the reception been like in Apple Creek since you returned home? Is it just bananas? Everyone just going crazy for the Golden Bears?
Yeah, the community, it was so awesome. We got back into town right after we won that game. And, people around the streets and such, as the bus was coming in, they were clapping, waving at us. It was awesome. Then when we got back to the school, we did like a little thing where all the players said something to the community. It was awesome. We just loved seeing everyone there.
Which of your teammates would you say has been really enjoying the newfound celebrity and has been soaking up the spotlight quite a bit?
Odo, our pitcher, we wanted him to say something there when we were at the school, but he wouldn't do it. And then he had that interview with you guys. He really enjoyed that. He talked to me after that, said that was really fun for him.
Tell me more about adding that kid to the team and what it was like just during the school year. Take baseball out of the equation. Somebody who comes over to Apple Creek, Ohio, from a country that not very many people, I think, know where it's at, down by South America, and he's instantly put into your community and becomes the game-winning pitcher for a state championship. What's it been like getting to know that guy over the last year?
Oh, it's awesome. He's such a nice person. Always smiling. And it's really amazing how good he is. His pitches, all of his pitches move, and it's really hard to hit. I've tried to hit off him before, and I have trouble with it, so I can't imagine what it's like to play a whole game against him. But, yeah, he's just such a nice person to be around, always smiling.
I see your game-winning hit has been posted all over social media by multiple different outlets, thousands and thousands of views. How crazy has it been? I'm sure you've been going through the Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you're on, and to see this hit portrayed by so many different people, the fact that you're the star of it.
It's awesome. Just going up to the plate in that opportunity, I was incredibly nervous, honestly, but it was a huge relief after getting that hit up the middle, and then just having my teammates come out and wrestle me to the ground. It was just an incredible experience, and seeing it all over the internet, it just doesn't feel real, honestly. It's awesome.
Now, Connor, tell me, growing up, playing wiffle ball, playing baseball, side yard, you go through those situations, bases loaded, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, you're up to the plate, you actually got to live it. Has that sunk in, too, that you actually got to live out a scenario that kids all over the country go through every day to win something like this?
Yeah, it feels like a dream come true, because that's what everyone, it's a dream to everyone, and it's just an honor to be in that opportunity and then to actually come through with the hit. State championship, to win it like that, it's amazing, really.
Yeah, put yourself back in that situation. You mentioned that you were nervous, but, it was an 0-2 count, state title on the line, like Travis said, extra innings, 2 outs, all of that. Were you having conversations with yourself in your head? What do you remember about the moment before you stepped up into the batter's box and actually delivered the hit?
Well, actually, before the even inning started, I was doing the math in my head to see if I would come up to the plate even in that inning, if I had a chance to hit. And then I did figure out, I would have the opportunity to hit if the bases were loaded and there were 2 outs. So, and then I ended up in the on-deck circle, and I was like, if Timmy gets walked here, I'm going to have to be the one that ends this game if Timmy doesn't. So I was just like, I need to calm down, and I need to just play baseball, just to stop thinking. So.
Yeah, an emotional game and win on so many levels, especially with the passing of your classmate Deegan B ahead of state. What kind of impact do you think having his golf bag out there and some of his memorabilia had on the team to give you a collective spiritual uplift?
I mean, yeah, I think it hit all of us really. I know that some of my teammates were golf teammates with him, and they were really close to him. So, getting this championship for him really means a lot to not just us, but the whole community.
Connor, I just want to ask, when did you guys know that this was a team that could, make a run at state and then eventually win the state title? Was there a game that you guys played and you're like, you know what, we can actually do some damage? Or was there a moment in the season that you guys were like, yeah, we're for real?
I think it was in regionals when we started scoring quite a bit. I think we had over either 12 or 13 runs in both those games combined, and we were like, yeah, we're the real deal. We could really get to the state finals and win it all. But then we had heard that we'd face Jacob Miller, so a lot of preparation went into that game, and we ended up coming out as the victors in that. So.
Yeah, Connor, another thing that I think's kind of special that maybe some of us take for granted sometimes, just what was it like to get to play in that environment, in that ballpark? Pretty cool that we now host state games at big stadiums like this. Did that add to the nerves at all, or how did you soak that experience in?
I felt like it was just a lot more fun to have all those people there. It's just hearing all the fans there. It doesn't really add to the nerve. It might for some other people, but I just felt like it was more fun to have all those people there and just to have the whole community there cheering you on and such.
And now you mentioned Jacob Miller in that state semifinal game. You said a lot of preparation. Was that – I think I talked to Trey about this after the semifinal game, but you probably had the pitching machine close up to like as high as it could go. Just what was the preparation going into that game? And then once you saw a couple hits, against him, the confidence level, did it build that way, knowing that you guys could hit him, or what was the plan going through there?
The plan was to get as many base runners as possible and then to try and bunt them over or steal. But then we saw that we could actually hit a little bit off of them. So, just get base runners on. That was the plan. Get base runners on, try and move them over, and try and get them in. And we didn't think we were going to score that many runs, but we ended up doing that. So that was pretty cool.
One question for you, Storm at the OH.Report. My thing was more about the celebration. What's it like being at the bottom of one of those dog piles? I can only imagine that is horrifying.
It's funny you asked that because it was actually I felt just so happy for some reason at the bottom of that pile. I was like, we achieved our goal. We're here. It's over. Just a sigh of relief from all of us. It was so awesome.
Well, what do you do now? What's your big plans for the summer? Do you play travel baseball? Are you an AAU basketball player? What's the next step for you?
I'll be playing a little bit more baseball. I think I have an all-star game next week, and then I'll play in a few tournaments with a local team. But besides that, I'll just be working and stuff.
Where you work at?
I work for my dad, just a local construction business.
Nice, yeah. Free plug if you want to shout out Papa's business real quick, he'll love it.
Pro Coat.
And then you mentioned that you're going to be playing in the Wayne versus Holmes Future Showcase next week. That's got to be pretty cool just to be selected. But my question for you is, since it's Wayne County versus Holmes County, does it put a little additional into it that you want to be the top county in your area?
Oh, yeah, of course. I didn't get to play in it last year, but it's going to be a lot of fun this year and being just around a few more of my teammates. And I know a few people from the other teams, so it'll be fun to play with them. And it'll be a little bit of competition for us.
Well, Connor, before now and then, make sure that you get some sleep. We're going to be out there with a live stream, so we want to see you at your full potential. But remember to celebrate. Take this all in, baby. It does not happen that often. Of course, just the first for Waynedale all time, and you were the guy who delivered the hit. So congratulations. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Connor Gatti, everybody, 2022 state champion. So cool, man, to get to talk to guys like that. I mean, pretty fresh after it, too. That was just a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And Travis and I did an interview with him 15 minutes after the game
Showed
ended.
him the first time of his hit, and he was speechless. And that's just awesome, the emotion. He just biggest grin on his face. So he's like, I don't know what to say. That was just amazing.
It's like an actual dream coming true.
Yeah,
like
it
you
is.
said.
It is.
It would have been like, for me, I cannot tell you how many times growing up that I shot floaters over like the Kembe Mutombo and stuff in my driveway. To have that situation for a state championship in his sport, that was awesome to see. And as mentioned, we are going to be at that Holmes versus Wayne All-Star Showcase in a couple of weeks, or next week actually. We got the softball edition, though, coming up this Wednesday, where we're going to be out there maybe bringing it to you live and free. They don't have internet in Shreve, the entire town trying to put their bandwidth together. Maybe we can push out a signal. If not, we'll get it posted the next day. But these competitions, they're cool, man. I like the whole what's at stake. So county versus county, the neighborhood rivalries. Storm, it sounds like it's going to be a pretty good time. So you're from Ashland County. If you were in a competition like against Richland, I bet you're going to try to bring your A game and knock the other guys down a peg.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, why would you never want to be top dog, you know? I mean, it's competition, especially at a sporting event. Like, I mean, remember we used to play at that mini hoop, and it would always be the Crestview kids versus the Ashland kids versus the Mapleton kids. Guess who always ran the courts, though?
Ashland kids?
The Crestview kids.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
No, the Crestview
Figured
kids
it was
always
the
ran that
Mounties.
court. So,
Those cool hats.
We put Crestview dunk ball on the map, man.
Well, it's going to be a senior game, a futures game for any player that's not a senior, and then a home run derby. For the senior game, though, 6 Triway girls are going to be on it. Are they already
7.
a big favorite out there in Wayne County, G-Man?
It's hard not to be when they got 7 girls out there. They also won a state title. I mean, how can you go against a team that has won it all? They got girls that up and down their lineup, all of them could hit, and the majority of their lineup is going to be there. So it's hard to not pick Triway there. But
And all 7 are going to play college ball, too.
yeah,
crazy,
you just mentioned though the county versus county. Maybe other squads bring it. Maybe they want to fight Triway a little bit. It's always been Triway. Maybe
Right.
it's time to get their name out
A
there.
little bit of jealousy out there, seeing
Right.
all these newspaper clippings, OH.Report following them everywhere.
Even
Now
your
it's
dad
time
needs
for
stuff out
Holmes
there.
County to shine, perhaps. You're going to be calling it for our play-by-play, Trav. What would you say you're most looking forward to? I understand that there's going to be some heated rivalries in the home run derby.
Yeah, that's what I'm most looking forward to, the underclassmen home run derby. Haley Massaro versus Meredith Rank, Emma Hudson. I believe Belle Doughton was supposed to be in it, but she's not on the list right now, so hopefully she's in it because that would be something to look forward to. And then you got Tess Denning, Hannah Baker, and Kennedy Kay in the senior bracket. But I heard that the last couple of years it got heated. It was some good competition in the home run derby, so I'm looking forward to seeing them hit some bombs, and there were some big numbers as well. So I can't wait for that, but also just to see, can anybody knock off those 7 Triway players in there? It's going to be interesting to see if people want to go up one more time against those state champs and knock them off, send them home with a loss as the last ever high school game, you know? It's going to be fun to see.
we'll find
I
out
look
on
forward
Wednesday.
to calling it with you.
I think the general consensus is that they're going to be a big favorite, but that's why they throw the first pitch and do the darn thing. We'll find out on Wednesday, hopefully live and free. If not, again, you can check out all the competitions on Thursday after we get them uploaded. More All-Star stuff. The FCA All-Star Football Classic was this past Friday night, and it was a pretty awesome game, I got to tell you. The team that G-Man thought was going to be a big favorite actually fell behind early by a few scores, and then thanks to some awesome defensive play, 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter, and some heroics by the MVP Marshall Shepard, North squad was able to dig themselves out of a hole. But I guess we'll start with you real quick, G. Why did you think on paper that the North had such a big advantage?
Their quarterback was Marshall Shepard.
Yeah.
The number 1 wide receiver is Blaine Bowman.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Shelby was pretty head and shoulders the best team last year in football. They weren't able to make it very far, played tough competition in Clyde, but I think the football is now turning into a QB's game. And if you got the best QB on the team, on the field, you have a shot to win it. And Marshall, Man, and Blaine put the team on their back. Had some great defensive stops too by a couple guys, and they had Shelby. I'm being serious. That's why I picked them. They had Marshall and they had Blaine. So I thought I liked their skill positions more than the other teams. So I rode with them, and Worked out.
And the coaching staff took it serious too. Like they had
Oh,
two
yeah,
guys
both
up in the
squads.
booth. Like you never see that in an All-Star game. They had two guys in the booth. They were really calling the game. They were getting on their players as well
There was
sometimes.
there
I
was
think
some serious
it was because the Shelby coaches sour taste in their mouth after that overtime playoff loss. They wanted to get one more win for their seniors, so they went all out to get their players the win. And Marshall Shepard and companies really picked it up in that fourth quarter. First quarter was a great game. Second
Oh,
and
lots of
third,
excitement.
it kind of dropped off. It felt like last year a little bit, nobody scoring. And then fourth quarter, defensive and offensively from the North squad, really picked it up and made it a good game.
You know, I honestly, another thing that I think might have played into, I know we talked about it a little bit on the sidelines, into some of the, honestly, both sides. I think the players bought in, but both coaching staff is.
New rivalry in the MOAC.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I
didn't
think
even
that
about that aspect of it.
Highland staff and Shelby staff haven't really directly got to coach against each other yet, so it might have been a little bit of a competitiveness on that side.
I know on our broadcast that Eric Will was going bonkers talking about all the great talent that they had out there on both coaching staffs, and I think
Yeah.
he's right. When you look from top to bottom,
Yeah.
could be a future showdown between those two programs for MOAC championship coming up this season.
And they took it serious.
Yeah.
Like
They
both
did.
like both teams took it really like you could hear the position coaches from Highland just because I was on that sideline. When the wide receivers would release, they were yelling out the routes.
Yeah.
Like they were just based off the movement that Blaine would give you. Post. It was like
Yeah, man. I mean,
Sorry,
pads
They
were
were
popping,
playing
man.
bragging rights.
Yeah.
There were some big clean hits. Not
Yeah, right.
No ejections like we saw in the last couple years, but there were some clean hits, hard-hitting football.
Yeah,
a
they
couple
weren't
big
worried about
cleaners,
the rest
too.
of
I'm
the
like,
summer.
wow, this is
Yeah.
they're taking it serious for this year. It was
Yeah, it's
good.
not like the
It was
Pro
worth it.
Bowl.
Yeah, no,
These high
no.
school kids get together.
They're more entertaining than the Pro Bowl.
One more
Yeah.
time. No question about it. Well, the winning quarterback from the North, who made all the big plays down the stretch, guess what, guys? We got him joining us right here and now. Former Shelby three-sport stud athlete Marshall Shepard. What's up, man? How you doing? What you up to?
What's up? Not a whole lot.
Well, give us some insight about your all-star experience and just what it's like trying to get prepped for a football game during the summertime with mostly a bunch of guys you don't even know or you're meeting for just like the second time or something.
Yeah, it was really odd. I mean, I've been playing baseball all spring and then this first part of the summer. So just to like pick up a football, which I haven't thrown in 6 months, and just start practicing. And then especially doing it with a bunch of guys that like I've never met before. They just made it really weird, but it just made it for a good experience.
How much different is the mechanics throwing a baseball versus trying to fly a pigskin 50 yards?
It's not really, doesn't feel too different on my arm, but like it's more just like throwing the football, getting the good spiral back, and being able to just like throw the deep ball and stuff like that. I usually get a day or two, then I'm back at it.
At least you had the familiarity. Your top two wide receiver threats out there with you. I think there was 10 Shelby kids, so on any given play, there was somebody with a Whippets helmet on out there, plus your coaching staff. That had to be comforting for you as the quarterback to have so much familiarity around you.
Yeah, it was awesome being able to have our own plays, and then just obviously my two best receivers. So like, if something was broken down or like a broken play, I could just find Andre and Blaine down there and get him the ball.
Which new teammate from another school did you feel like you really connected with and you have a friendship to take away from this game?
I would have to say there's actually two of them. The two kids from Crestview, Connor Morris and Gabe Smedley. I mean, I always heard about them on like OH.Report and stuff like that. Then actually being able to play with them and having them both on my team, it was just an awesome experience having them with me.
I know it made our two resident Crestview guys real happy to hear that, gentlemen.
Yeah, I have just a little quick question for you here, Marshall. So if you take me and replace Blaine in the beginning of the season, do you think I have the same kind of stats?
What do you think the final record is?
Like, do I have as
yeah.
much of an impact as Blaine?
I think so.
See, he's got respect. He's seen me on the gridiron out there. You guys
Yeah.
don't respect me anymore. It's
Well,
there.
after
I
what
mean,
Blaine did
After
to
what
you.
Blaine did to you, but
I mean,
Hey,
Blaine embarrassed you.
I still caught one.
Still caught one. Still caught one.
Did he go 5 for 5?
No.
Oh.
I had a block.
Oh, that's right.
He went 4 for 5.
That's right.
Marshall, so throughout the season, you were always pretty much the MVP for my game, pretty much. Never enough phenom votes. So now that you're kind of graduated, you have anything you got to say to Shelby faithful out there that might be listening about how you never got phenom?
I mean, I'm not too disappointed, but like I really wanted to get it one time, especially like just week after week I was put up there for votes, but like I mean, I guess if I say one thing, just be like, just vote for me next time.
Yeah, brother, I think you were up there 9 times. 9 times.
Yeah.
You had a 7-touchdown game. You had a 6-touchdown game with 400 yards, and you still didn't get the dub. That was flat out ridiculous. So you were our phenom.
Absolutely,
at least
yeah.
3
We were in
times.
shock most of the time.
Storm's got something for you.
We got an MVP for you. This'll stay here, but it's yours.
Put it on
Thank
your
you.
fridge in college or anything. It's a
Yeah.
magnet. It'll be perfect.
That
We'll
smooths
send it to you.
everything over, all the
Still
pain.
can't believe it.
Well, you at
still shocked.
least got the accolade. They gave you MVP of the All-Star game, I think, to make up for all the phenoms lost in the past.
True.
What did that mean to you to win that award? And then tell us a little bit about the fourth quarter and your game that you were able to bring out there.
Yeah, it felt amazing to win the award. I mean, just be able to make the comeback happen and just win the game. I mean, it was awesome. And then it's like in the fourth quarter, like I knew we had plenty of time to score the ball, especially since like we throw the ball so much. I was like, the clock's gonna be stopped and like we'll be fine. But then our defense started getting those stops, and then we got those big interceptions. And then when it came down to, we were only down by 1 score, and we got the interception and ran it out to like the 50-yard line. Like I just knew we were gonna win the game right there.
Blaine, so after
Marshall.
the first, not Blaine, yeah, Marshall. Well, I'm setting this up. After the first interception, you hooked up with Blaine for an 81-yard touchdown pass. It completely changed the momentum of the game. Did you feel like after you got that touchdown that you guys had him right where you wanted him?
Yeah, I think we did because we had a big drive there in the third quarter. Then, like you said, we came back to Blaine for the 81-yard touchdown. And like once that was completed, I feel like the other team's defense, they were definitely back on their heels and starting to get a little bit nervous because just we were throwing the ball and starting to complete our passes and connect to each other.
Yeah, Marshall, you talked about how you've been playing baseball all spring, and honestly, that didn't end too long before this practices for the All-Star game began. Do you think that baseball and that conditioning and being in season for that sport, did that help you get through that first quarter at all? Because I know some of us were a little astounded. I think almost running about 35, 40 minutes. Is that one of the longest first quarters you've been through?
Yeah, absolutely. That was the longest quarter I think in my whole life. Like I remember we played 3 series. I looked up and there was still like 6 minutes left.
Yeah.
I was like, "There's no way that's even possible."
Well, it's crazy, too, when you don't have somebody like Owen Fisher just running the ball
Very
5
true.
yards at a time, running the clock off in 10 minutes time. But it
Yeah,
seemed like,
that's true.
Do you feel like that maybe that wore down the South squad as well, that long first quarter? Because it seemed like you had them where you wanted. Like I said, you had them where you wanted them in the fourth quarter, but it seemed like you guys had a little bit more gas than them.
Yeah, I think it did for sure too, and especially a lot of our routes that we were running were a lot of like deep routes and crossing routes. So I mean, our receivers were tired, but like I think it wore down more on them.
Well, you played not just football, but baseball and then basketball for Shelby. If you had to give me like a top 2 or 3 favorite memories from any sports, is there anything that you really cherish that sticks out in your mind, some cool play or anything that happened on the playing surfaces for you?
I would say the top memory would have to be. It's really tough because it's all 3 sports, but I would probably say during football, winning the 3rd straight conference championship. I mean, that was just truly amazing. And then like also along with that, basketball, we won 3 straight years, so like that was awesome.
Right.
But like for
Yeah.
a specific moment, I would have to say probably the Pleasant game this year when I connected with Blaine, and Blaine had 300 yards and I was able to throw like 6 touchdowns that game. That was one of my favorite games.
And even that didn't
Still
even
didn't
Yeah.
phenom.
Still got
Right.
ripped.
Absurd. Well, you're going to Walsh University to play baseball. Kind of unpeel your decision there to stick with the Diamond and then also choosing the Cavaliers. What all factored into that?
Yeah, it was a super tough decision. I mean, baseball was always the sport I loved most since I was a little kid. So I kind of knew I wanted to go for baseball like all along, but like I was still open to football there for the longest time because like I love it and I have so much fun playing it. But then once I figured out, I was like, I'm going to go for baseball. I kind of just narrowed it down to a couple schools, and then I just fell in love with Walsh's campus, and it was just a great baseball team. And like I followed them along this whole year. They won the GMAC this year, and just watching them and like talking to their coach, I just fell in love with them.
Well, you're going to be rooming with Blaine Bowman, who's going to be playing football down there. Is he trying to get you involved during the fall time? Maybe show up for a practice or 2 and see if you want to stick it out?
Yeah, he won't shut up about it, especially like after the All-Star game. After the All-Star game, he's like, man, you got to come back and be my quarterback for 4 more years.
I think we'd all sign up for that again. Could
Yeah.
be some good times ahead.
I'd be on board.
If you play quarterback down there, we'll make sure the Storm's on the sideline to capture all those huge games. We'll put you up for awards, and you'll never win.
All right, sounds good.
All right, what you got going on this summer before you head off to college and become like a grown person? Any last things that you want to do while you still have some of your youth available at your disposal here?
I mean, not really. I've been really just having a low-key summer, just like going to a lot of grad parties and just working out, really, not a whole lot.
Well, party it up as much as you can, because none of that goes down in college at all, Marshall.
No. It's straight work, straight schoolwork, and nothing else. Yeah.
All right, well, hey, man, really appreciate the time. It's been a pleasure watching you and all 3 sports blossom over the last several years. And, again, you'll always be an MVP and a phenom in our book here at the
100%.
OH.Report.
Thank you.
All right, Marshall Shepard, everybody. So, yeah, two good interviews, I think, today. We got a kid coming off of a state championship, and
See,
then
we're
also
not that bad at doing this stuff.
an all-star MVP.
Loaded.
Pretty cool.
Man,
cool.
the places we've gone in 2 years, Brian.
And then to think when they get older, there might be opportunities for them to keep playing, like alumni games that we just saw go down in Mansfield Senior on
called a
Saturday.
segue,
G and
folks.
Storm were on the call.
Smooth.
Tell us, for those of us that didn't get a chance to be there, what the event was all about. Like, what was the feel going on out there in Pete Henry?
It was a lot of fun, actually. We saw some high-flying monster jams. We saw a lot of three-pointers, some walking around there. But it was a ton of fun. Roy Mack put on a great event, and it was just kind of cool to see all the legends of Mansfield Seniors past go at it one more time. And Roy Mack talks about it being an annual event, and I really do hope so, because I mean it was a lot of fun, honestly.
Yeah, it was great to see some of the Mansfield kids, too, who are coming up through Mansfield City schools and seeing those guys who they always talk about, you know, the Owens, the all-time leading scorer in Tigers history. You know, they always talk about those kind of guys, and then you finally actually get to see him, and then he actually throws down a dunk.
And they still got game.
Yeah, and he still got game, too. And there was a couple guys there, too, that really could ball out. I know Jalen Reese, he's a younger guy. He refs around this area. I don't know if he should have been in there because he was much better than
He's
the
prime.
rest of the guys.
Yeah, he was
got
prime.
outdunked there though for a
Yeah,
little bit.
but George Palmer was another great player there. T.J. Lindsay, he was hitting from downtown. So there's definitely some guys who are, you know, older but can still ball. And it was a great event by Roy Mack and a lot of fun with, of course, the legendary Tiger himself, Greg Collins.
Yeah, I seen Roy was engaging in some Facebook conversation about getting alumni game together. People saw the live stream actually and hit him up and was like, yo, our high school wants to play your high school 35 and older boys. Like, can we get a game together? And that's something that potentially is in the works. And I like that better. The Tiger alumni game is cool if they can get – there's a lot of kids right now in their 20s and early 30s that can ball. Lots of pros that played at Mansfield
yeah.
Seniors. They didn't have any of those. No offense to Dupreece Owens, like you said, who the all-time leading scorer. And then – yeah,
They got rim?
We tuned in.
Caught
when he
rim?
dunked, actually.
Saw it, yeah. You guys said, oh, I don't know if he's going to dunk, and then right afterwards,
Yeah.
bam,
Yam.
throws it right down.
So, yeah, glad that we got to be a part of the event. And like Roy said, he just got the ball rolling. You know, you got to do step one to be able to get to bigger and better things.
Look
Oh,
at that.
there's Roy with a silky jumper. But you think Jalen Reese by far was the most prepared for this one?
He was the youngest, so he was the
Graduated.
best player on the floor. But Thomas Murphy, which I believe is him, hopefully I don't get his name wrong. He actually is a sniper. And, I think he
And his smack
graduated-
talk,
and
too.
he graduated in, I think, 1979 is what he said. So he's an older guy, and he was a spot-up shooter, and he liked to chirp.
He was jawing.
He was
yeah.
in the ref's face. Like, I didn't know if the game was going to be
There's the
super
legends.
competitive, and then, like, in the last few minutes, like, they turned the heat up.
And-
White had a huge comeback, too. It's a good game.
They tell
gotta
me he
admit,
was an outstanding
those
quarterback,
jerseys, as
which
you
I
guys
could
say, were
understand on the
straight fire.
football
Those
field.
things were nice jerseys that they provided. And I like what your idea is, too, Brian, if they said it's in the works. Maybe get an OH.Report alumni tournament between the different schools around here, like the Lexington alumni, Mansfield Senior, Clear Fork. You know, you got some state champions that are still around here that hoop it up. Madison, maybe Joe Jakubik comes back and plays a little bit of basketball there from Madison. But get like an 8-team bracket tournament or something like that against these alumni and get a trophy out there.
If St. Vincent, St. Mary gets a team, does LeBron get to come back and play?
The whole Fab Five.
Do we have like $1 million to pay him to get down here?
I mean, I'm pretty, most of the Fab Five still around here. I'm sure. I think Willie McGee's the AD, so I mean, he could make that happen.
If we just stick with Richland County, Roy already said of the area
Yeah, he
schools,
said it's done.
A wrap.
It's
No
a wrap.
question, Tigers are going to win. I think if there was going to be a program second, maybe Lexington give them a run for their money. Ontario had some bad boys back in their
the
day.
Warriors.
Not Crestview.
Do we add Willard?
Dave Gibbs Kissel would be the only one I know.
Some
Yeah.
Hooper, so you got some
Willard's
ballers.
just outside the county.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
in Huron. But yeah. I don't know. Might be interesting.
Plymouth,
We'll see
get
what
Jake
Roy puts
Fur.
together.
Yeah,
Jake
Jake
Fur?
Fur. Get
The
Jake
media
Fur
think
come
the
in
game
there.
will
Those
be
regional
with
teams.
OH.Report. Jake
Well,
Fur can't hang.
I've already been on record as saying by next year, I think for sure Queens of the Hardwood will be back. We're trying to get the Kings of the Hardwood. And the night before, we'll do some type of a all-star event. But we got to do media versus media.
Yeah, whoever
OH
wants it
Report,
can get it.
Since we're the only real athletes out here in the journalism game, we'll take on everybody else. That's right. Fur and company over at News Journal. Jeff Allen, go ahead, put on your short shorts, jump in the competition. Seth Bird,
Yeah, come on. This is all in good fun, but we will obliterate you.
We'll get some charity money and
Yeah.
smoke you.
It's for the kids.
Live and free. All right, let's talk about some real basketball players now, guys. Let's go ahead and wrap things up here. NBA Finals Game 5 tonight. It's huge. I believe when series are tied 2-2, the winner of Game 5 goes on to win the series more than 80% of the time. So, Hayden, you can go first. Tell me who's winning and why.
I was enlightened by a statement that I honestly forgot about from our resident Celtic fan, Adam, and that is that the C's have not lost back-to-back games in, I believe, the entire playoffs.
Neither of the Warriors.
And, that's true. So this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say the Celtics take one tonight. I haven't said that yet. I haven't really given them any good faith, so I hope I don't mess that up for Adam. But I'm going to say they take the game tonight, but the Warriors are still going to take the series in 7. That's my take, and I'm excited for the game.
I still have it. Celtics in 7. If it goes by what we say, no team has lost back-to-back games.
Yep.
True.
Celtics win
Sure, you can
tonight.
take mine, yeah.
Warriors win Game 6. Celtics take Game 7 in San
I
Francisco.
can't believe that you think that the Celtics are going to take Game 7 in San Francisco.
Well, I mean, there was another team named the
They don't have
Cleveland
LeBron,
Cavaliers.
Bubba.
That we're also
They don't
supposed to
have
sleep this
LeBron.
way.
They got
Well, I thought you
players.
guys
They're
were
still gonna
trying
win
to
in 7.
convince me over the last month that Jason Tatum was an elevating superstar.
I said last podcast he's not. So that is on record.
I like to call out, Brian. I like to
he'll have
call
a
out.
good
These
game.
guys
He'll
always
have a-
think, yeah.
He'll have a bounce
Yeah.
back game tonight, but
Needs to.
Steph Curry, man.
Well, especially if the Celtics do win on Game 5, you're going to need Game 6 Clay.
Steph
or
Curry
maybe it
said
goes in
Defensive
6.
Player of the Year who? He's been saying
Steph
that all
has gone
series.
off, though, this series.
He's been
He's
putting all
been
over
the
to the
main reason
nursing
why
home.
it's 2-2.
Warriors. Warriors take it tonight.
That took some effort to get.
Curry gets 30 plus because I think that's the only way they can win. Is
Okay.
if Curry gets more than 30.
And he's shown it.
If Draymond has more,
Yeah.
If
points
Draymond
and
has more
fouls
than
at the end
3
of this
points
game,
and 6 fouls.
Like, yeah, what's going on with Draymond, man? Is he
Bum.
gonna wake up? Like if he has 10 points, they might win by 50.
True.
Like they've been able to compete without Draymond, like averaging over 3. Clay's been pretty
think they
bad.
had
He
any
had the one
points
good
last
game.
game.
So I mean, if
Zendaya sitting courtside just for Jordan Poole, so
yeah,
I
Jordan
heard
Poole's
that.
getting 30.
The
Oh.
more eye candy in the front row, the better Jordan
So
Poole
Jordan
plays. So
Poole,
they might.
So
need
he's
to
that
line
guy,
him
huh?
up
he
with
might
full
hit one
force.
from 3 steps behind half court.
He
now.
is that guy, huh?
And
Warriors.
like you guys said in the last game, it's going to come down to that third quarter. Can the Warriors keep it within 10 going into that third
That's
quarter
the
when they
thing.
take off? That's the key.
If the Warriors are down 12 going into the third, they're in good shape. I mean, honestly, still. If they're up, I mean, the game is almost over at that point because the Celtics in the third quarter have been, like, horrible in the third quarter.
Boston finally got to take some pride in not allowing Steph Curry to beat you and just let some of the other guys. That's my take, is that if they can keep Steph contained and just make an all-out effort to do that, double team him when he crosses half court, check him, get some cheap fouls when he comes down the
Don't
lane,
let
go
him
back
get
to a little bit of the
6-point
Jordan
plays.
rules. Can't let him just dominate you like he's been doing, and they'll be just fine. I got the Celtics tonight. Celtics in 6.
Mic drop.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen.
It's over, ladies.
Stay cool out there this week.